Well everyone, it's that time. It's almost time to say goodbye to the Wii U and 3DS eShop. We're in 2023 now, and 2022 was a great year, but unfortunately that also means that the Big N is ready to shut down the servers once and for all. We only have a couple more months left to go before it's gone for good. You should be able to re-download the games you've gotten, but the purchases are coming to an end. Now, while we are getting some retro games through the Nintendo Switch Online services, let's face it, we're getting drip-fed by Nintendo, and the fact of the matter is we don't even own these games, and they can take them off at any time. So if you're like me, you're going to do some shopping on the Wii U. But what exactly is there? Well, in Japan anyways, there's quite a few options. Compared to the US's 311 titles, there are 481, count it, 481 titles. They even have some MSX titles which didn't make it overseas. How cool is that? One game I want to pick up is Wrecking Crew 98. This sort of lost sequel to Wrecking Crew was only released in Japan, and it was really late on the Super Famicom. It was actually released only through the Japanese Nintendo Power service, which I talked about in this short here. Of course, there's just tons of Famicom and Super Famicom titles, but I have to admit the N64 section's a bit disappointing. There's only 22 titles, and most of them have been released on the Switch at this point. Maybe Bomberman 64 would be a good pickup, but even that I can see coming to the Switch too. I like the choices overall. All the games are good, but the dark filter on 64 games does bother me a little bit. There is a way through hacking that you can turn it off, but I just don't want to do that. There's quite a bit of PC Engine games here too, but honestly I'm not really that knowledgeable about it, so I'd like to pick up a few titles and get into the system. The actual thing itself costs an arm and a leg to collect for, so if I can pick up titles here on the cheap, I'll do it. Of course, you can't forget the DS titles that are here too, which is pretty sweet because you can use the touchscreen on the Wii U controller to play them. I wish there was a way to do something like this on the Switch, but I guess we've moved past these touch-based systems, which makes me feel a little bit nostalgic and kinda sad. But the things I'm really looking forward to are the Game Boy Advance games. There are 102 titles, and if I'm not mistaken, developers M2 took care of the emulation for all of them, I think. And if you've played an M2 port, you know they're the real deal. They play and look so nice. Of course, being a Sonic fan, I gotta pick up the Sonic Advance titles, which weren't even released overseas for some reason. Then on top of that, you got Mother 3, which will probably never be released out of Japan at this point. And then there's a game I've been dying to get to, Tomato Adventure, and this is essentially the precursor to Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga developed by Alpha Dream, which is also on the store. I almost forgot to mention the Wii and Wii U download titles, but they're not really that appealing to me. I don't know, I'm not sure about the prices overseas, but I'm going to avoid them here. They're all about $25 more or less, but that's way too much for some of these, especially ones that I found out in the wild for less than $5. That said, it was nice looking through the list to give me some ideas for games I could go out and get. I guess Kirby on the Wii might be the only one that's comparable since the physical release is pretty expensive, but with that remake coming out, it could drop, so I'm just going to wait and see. There's a chance that these games will show up on the Switch like I mentioned, but given the schedule that Nintendo is going at, we'll get them in like 3 to 5 years. I wish I was exaggerating, but I really think that's what's going to happen with the pace that they're going at. What about everyone else? Anyone have plans to pick up some games? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.